clearly in your spiritual eye. A divine illumination of most sacred suns. Not only is this the sun behind the sun behind the sun, but this is a clustering of sacred energies coalescing together in a specific intention and a divine and holy singularity, connecting with the opening energies of the Lion's Gate. And in this time of celestial resonance, to bring higher celestial alignments, utilized by the ascended realms of light, the great Shambhala worlds, crystalline worlds, paradise worlds, the emanations of the highest of the Absolute world, moving through divine crystalline circuitry to move into a sacred and holy alignment, to create a resonant field as the children of light upon the earth who have not forgotten step into their roles as great resonators, step into their roles as the great containers of the celestial codes and energies that seek to come and anchor upon the sacred earth, even as the sacred earth herself used her children to raise the vibration and to bring a connection of indeed the balance of heaven and earth. As the great catalyst, as the great that holds both the scales of the right and the left, the polarities of the right and the left. It is the children of light integrated with the vision, mission, and purpose of an ascension being that chooses to bring all her life. And so in this divine plan, there's the great gathering of celestial realms incorporated into the very frequency of the children of light upon the earth who have not forgotten to move forward with a divine plan that has been orchestrated from the Ancient of Days. See clearly now, beloveds, as there is the gathering again of keeping a perfect balance. And we use once again the sacred symbol of the infinity symbol. It would be an 8 that is on its side. And this is a continuation from our last interaction, communion, as the last time. And we amplify now as we come closer and more stronger and radiant into the Lion's Gate. And so see clearly in your spiritual eye this ever powerful pulsing of the cosmic force of the in-breath and the out-breath, in the birth and the rebirth. In the center, this perfect palace, this balance that keeps the cosmos in divine and sacred order. And so allow this, beloveds, with each and every in-breath and out-breath that you take, in the remembering that you breathe the breath of Brahma, you breathe the breath of God. And now you align with the sacred rhythm of the cosmos. And as you align with this rhythm by seeing clearly in your spiritual eye and thereby a frequency of ebb and flow that moves within you to the very cells of your body, to the very atomic and subatomic levels, this perfect ebb and flow, and the connection point of great illumination is the center. And it is here, beloveds, that we want you to bring your attention in the center of this infinity symbol, this ebb and flow of light. And in the middle of it is the brilliance of 1,000,000 suns. But yet, you easily, with ease and grace, can bring in its radiant emanations as it flows over you, as you hold the balance. And as you hold the balance of polarities, anchoring into the oneness from the upper realms that seek to connect to this radiant light in the middle, you hold the frequency, you hold the pattern, you hold the codes to manifest this into the physical, mental, and emotional worlds. So we breathe collectively this sacred in-breath and out-breath, corresponding and correlating with the infinity symbol that ebbs and flows, that a perfect balance is established, an anchored peace that is within your physical body, your mental and your emotional bodies. Each and every single in-breath and out-breath establishes this perfect balance and establish peace. And as you peer into the brilliance and the radiance of the sacred one, holding the polarities in balance, holding the ebb and the flow of perfect creation, of perfect rhythm. And as this brilliance of light, Australian light that comes from the upper worlds beyond description, yet a familiarity of it all, you move to the center and walking into a great sun of brilliant light. You are one with this light. And as you move and adjust your spiritual eyes, you see that there is a myriad of the most radiant ones, angelic beings, and all levels of consciousness expressive of the divine, in one creative singularity to bring forth a purpose, a mission, an unfoldment from the Ancient of Days, deep within the cellular memory, deep within the DNA, deep within the emotional memory. Convergence of the past, the present, and the future. A great correlation, merging of timelines to bring forth the new creational process, the higher vision, the higher platform for a golden age of the sacred earth. And as we are one with this radiant field of light, as we observe the higher frequency of radiance and colors beyond description, somehow deep within us as a dream, we are familiar with this. And we feel such anchored peace and perfect balance. It is the frequency of bliss and joy beyond description. And so we simply, in the physical body, breathe the sacred in-breath and out-breath as our consciousness, the essence of who we are, explores further this most radiant hall of light. And observing indeed the Ami Shaddai, the family of light that is ever present with us and around us. And as we look at these beautiful radiant faces and bodies of radiant light, we notice that we too have radiant faces and bodies of light. And there is a divine sacredness and a holiness to this experience, deep-seated in love, in great joy and bliss, a conscious reunion of the family of light, connected through agreements, collaborations, now integrating in one divine singularity, bringing into the consciousness of those who are connected by heart and mind, an interweaving of multi-dimensional platforms into one creational experience, a oneness that is beyond description. But we know to breathe the holy sacred in-breath and out-breath with great gratitude as it interlaces into the many expressions of who and what we are. And in this elevated state of consciousness, in our most radiance of beingness, in our connection of the Ami Shaddai, the family of light, all together in a singularity of higher service for the profound love of God that brings us to the ever reaching for the soul pulse that pulls us forward in spite of perceived limitations and challenges. It is this that pulls us forward. And as we continue to be in this consciousness of illumined light and cosmic memory, we simply be and breathe in a great communion with the most radiant ones who look at us as radiant ones. And in this family of light and conscious reunion, there is a frequency of profound joy. A joy that is undescribable, or the joy that is familiar. And we know simply to breathe the sacred in-breath and out-breath. For there is the integration and the interweaving of this experience. And with each and every sacred in-breath and out-breath, we bring this level of conscious awareness, the radiant codes of light, in the celestial realms of light with the family of light, anchoring the cosmic Christ consciousness, anchoring the divine Maitreya, remembering the Ancient of Days, bringing into fruition a long promised agreement. And it is in the remembering that brings us great joy. It is in the conscious reconnection that brings us joy and happiness. And all we feel to do is simply be. And even as our physical, mental, and emotional bodies breathe the rhythm of the great infinity symbol, the brilliant light of a million suns continues to grow and emanate a radiance beyond description that easily, with ease and grace, we naturally flow into its brilliance as it reminds us of home, reminds us as our state of true beingness. And we know that each and every sacred in-breath and out-breath that our physical body inhales and exhales continues to integrate, interweave, and connect this level of consciousness into the physical, mental, and emotional bodies. Expanding and growing as a weaving of fabric, expanding it and connecting it into new patterns and new levels and new colors, creating a sacred gematria, incorporating the family of light into our everyday physical, mental, and emotional world and a physical plane, but not limited to it. We know simply to breathe, to integrate the frequency that pours in through the higher heart of compassion and unconditional love from this family of light. And as we simply allow our connection to the sacred earth and to all of her life, this frequency consciousness moves in, through, and around us onto the earth as the great catalyst and connector, moving through us as we hold the perfect balance and sacred peace, as we incorporate and experience the joy that continues to emanate. It flows through us, in us, and around us onto the sacred earth. Because it is through the higher heart of compassion and unconditional love we find ourselves upon the earth. And as it moves through all aspects of our beings, it goes into the sacred center of the sacred earth. And thereby this connection illuminates and radiates perfect balance and sacred peace, moving throughout the earth, her physical, mental, and emotional bodies, and all of her expressions. All life is touched with each and every holy, sacred in-breath and out-breath. It radiates beyond time and space. As a great supernova, its brilliance cannot be contained. It carries within it the divine sacred codes of the original Eden tree, of the perfection of oneness. Through the symbiotic relationships, creating the oneness of an organism of illumined light. So the children of light upon the earth who have not forgotten, bring in this higher alignment in a re-remembering of the original Eden tree, from the Ancient of Days. With each and every sacred in-breath and out-breath, it moves in the boundlessness of unconditional love. It moves through the canals of compassion. It moves through the canals of kindness, liberation, oneness. Moving through the crystalline matrix now, upon the earth, within the earth, reconnecting, adjusting, and aligning with the higher gematria from the higher celestial realms of light. Opening new portals of light for connection and reconnection. Widening great portals of light. Weaving and integrating the upper worlds with the lower one. As the children of light upon the earth with the Amishadai stitch heaven and earth together. We will hold this frequency as the great Lion's Gate frequencies open wider the opportunity. Hold your positions. Hold your positions. We are grateful for this experience. We make a mental note to remember this before we fall asleep later, to continue this holy and sacred work. And now the thought of return comes, and as much as we would want to stay in this bliss forever, we know the time has come for us to return, for there is much to be done. And as such, we scan this radiant light. You could see the smiling faces of the most radiant ones. We acknowledge and make the connection one more time as it begins to dissipate. As the electromagnetic field begins to draw in by all those who have participated, we know to draw in our electromagnetic field. The energies begin to step down methodically and purposefully. We intend to be back and awake and alert and prepare ourselves for that. On the count of 3, we will be back awake and very grounded unto our sacred earth, our sacred mother. 1, 2, take a deep breath in, and 3, we are back, awake, alert, and we are grounded.